Hello everyone, this is Asclepius with Echoes from the Caverns. Echoes from the Caverns is distributed by Sir Style Teckle and is a joint podcast production produced and run by Lord Baldrith, Asclepius and Sir Style Teckle. The background music is by Stephen J. Goldman. Well, it appears that everybody's busy this week. I can't understand why. Just because the best and most exciting game in recent memory is still up and available for play. But be that as it may, we have no special guests this week. So unfortunately, you're stuck with me. I'll do my best to review the news and let you know what's been happening in this past week. Well, first, one of the most exciting events of the week is, as you know, Release 11 is still up and very much alive. It was initially planned to run over last weekend and was going to be taken down. Obviously, the developers were so happy with it and it was performing so well, and the community were performing so well, they decided to leave it up and basically until it broke. And it hasn't broken yet. So that's really good news. Everybody's jumping on board and doing all sorts of amazing things. And there is so much to do in this release. Okay, firstly, items on the update of the Avatar number 97. We've got Happy Halloween, 5 million raised, R11 impressions, the Lord Marshal automaton, holiday specials, and more. And firstly, there's a beautiful picture contributed by Cinderia of a spooky image which really suits the Halloween theme. A skeletal archer standing in front or next to what looks like a dead tree and a column, overcast sky, sun in the background. A beautiful, spooky, moody scene. So thanks, Cinderia, for that contribution. The next item is truly awesome and exciting. Hit the $5 million mark. That happened probably earlier than anybody anticipated. And there's the screenshot of the $5 million and $493 raised. Reached yesterday, a year and a half after starting down this incredible journey. Congratulations to the community, making it one of a very small handful of games that's crossed the 5 million mark in crowdfunding. It is a testament to the incredible community and the incredible game that we're creating together. And as they said here, the beautiful screenshot of several of the community members dancing all night in celebration of that achievement. I heard about that. I managed to log on while I was at work, but I didn't think it would be appropriate to jump onto a game while I was trying to look as if I was working. But it looked as if they were having an absolute ball, and I think that is an awesome achievement. Everybody in the community should pat themselves on the back through helping Portalarium reach that awesome total. Okay, next item, Release 11 Impressions. A post by Richard Lord British Garriott. And, he had some wonderful words to say. He said, "While I think the team did some great work for this release, the real joy for me came seeing what the community was doing with the resources you've been given." So he was really impressed with what we as the community are doing with the game itself. Singled out specifically the Bear Tavern Brawls that were simulcast on Avatar's radio. Sadly, he missed the Chaos Sermon, although he said he might have objected or walked out. But he ran, completed mazes, and commented that the clever jump across lot boundaries and a multi-floor construction was phenomenal. So the people who are building these mazes have absolutely wonderful imaginations, and they're just stunning the community. He visited the player-run cities like Paxlair, but also commented that the largest structures could indeed be decorated, as they deserve to be. Now, when you consider this is being done in a very short time window, and people have to get out, harvest trees, cut them into boards, craft them, and then decorate up a whole Duke's castle, for example, that is an awful lot of work in a short time frame. And people are investing carefully in their skills. Glyph deck building, zones are becoming harder, which is great, and there'll be more crafting in R12, so that's good to see. So overall, Lord British gave us a big tick, which is pretty good. Awesome. Now, the video there, Hangout of the Avatar, which went for an hour and a half this time. They had a huge discussion about Release 11. A lot of things were discussed, a lot of positives. More people playing, more time, more content, play session times were up. The game ended up being more polished than R10, even though R10 was supposed to be the polished one, but there's a lot more content. Some things got in well, basements didn't get in. It's like everything. They found that there were technical challenges. Yeah, it looks like a great idea, but when you actually come to implement it, it's not as easy as you thought. You can actually apparently pick up the entrance of a basement and put it in your backpack, which means in your backpack you have your basement, and if anybody had entered the basement in the meantime, you've also got a player in your backpack, and that's not a good thing. So, a few little wrinkles to be ironed out, but basements will come in the future. Okay, talking about the different treatment of hexes and player scenes. Some people were having difficulty adjusting to that. I personally thought it was a really good idea. Fewer specific hexes on the map, but they were named, and you would enter them, and they're more specific and definite locations, so yes, you could meet up with people if you wanted. And then they went on to the R11 Community Events. As Lord British expressed, the real joy of R11 for me came seeing what the community was doing. And yes, was the community busy? The Fire Lotus Release 11 party, that's now become a monthly tradition. It was held at the Fire Lotus Tavern in Owl's Head. Community member Marcelo created this very touching video of the party, complete with meaningful quotes. He said, "Don't ask me why I made this, I don't know." Well, I've just watched the video, and I can only wholeheartedly echo the words of Dallas. When he says, "The scenes you captured, the wisdom contained in many of the quotes you shared, awakened in me the realization that this game is accomplishing the very purpose for which we founded Portalarium, which is to make a difference in the world by fostering community, goodwill, and people playing together." And when someone says something as eloquently and succinctly as that, there's nothing more you can say. It is a lofty ambition. It's certainly happening. People are getting together. They're fostering community and goodwill, having a huge, enormous time playing together. And this is what it's all about. I thought that video was absolutely awesome. Everybody should log on and see it. So, Marcelo, absolute kudos to you for making that video. That is absolutely beautiful. Okay, following on, the New Britannia Theatre Troupe actually got a mention, which was pretty good. Yes, the troupe did a live performance in Paxlair, performing a live in-stage play, They Who Dwell in Darkness. Now, in the interests of total and open disclosure and honesty, it didn't go quite as well as we had hoped. We felt like some of the developers do when they launch the monthly iterations of Shroud. It looks wonderful, it feels wonderful, it tests wonderfully, and then you launch it live and everything falls flat on its face. It got a bit sticky. I'll explain very briefly what happened. We were relying on the stream from Avatar's radio to bring the audio down. Now, internet radio is a data stream that obviously comes down over the internet. It is subject to a certain degree of lag or delay, maybe 30 seconds, whatever. So we pre-record the stuff, stream it down. The interesting feature is that the delay is also variable. So if you were sitting watching the performance, you might be receiving the stream 2 or 3 seconds before or after the person sitting next to you. That's not so bad. But when the actors are also relying on the stream, we might be receiving it at slightly different times, which creates a little bit of confusion, because one of the actors might be thinking, well, how come you're saying your line because I haven't heard my previous line yet? Okay, that creates a bit of difficulty. We've found ways to overcome that, so that's not going to be a problem in future. Not only that, but for some bizarre reason of the internet, the audio stream died shortly into the performance. But in the best traditions of the theatre, we carried on without it. And I must give full credit at this point to Royal Sexy, who saw what was happening, took control of the Avatar's radio stream, and gave an audio commentary of what was happening to try to keep up with the action. So thank you so much, Royal Sexy, for that. And through the magic of the Mad Hermit, he took the live performance, took the audio files that we were using with several hours' work. He managed to marry them up together, and there's an awesome video on the update page there, and please have a look at it. It actually came out quite well. So we've learned a lot of lessons from that performance, and we know and we feel that future performances, which we do intend to do because, hey, it's huge fun. We love bringing live theatre to the community. We know that future performances will be much better, and we look forward to entertaining the community even more. Okay, next, the Bear Tavern Brawl. This is an event that happens every release. Sadly, I don't generally get to watch it because it's totally the wrong time of day in my part of the world, but everybody has such a lot of fun because the place where they were planning to have it was a little bit buggy this time. They moved to the Battle of Solus Bridge, and as I said, what a fitting scene for a glorious combat that was. And beautiful images there of how the battles developed, and they look absolutely glorious. So, short story is, an absolutely great time was had by all, and battling each other for the title of Supreme Champion, which was won by Archon Avantgarde in the Pro category. The worthy adversary was Dante Tyrand, I hope I'm saying those correctly, and maybe next time there was Silverglade. One of these days I might get up the courage to enter one of the tournaments, but I'll probably still be cannon fodder. The Release 11 screenshot gallery. As they said, there were many, many more wonderful community events and unique player experiences, and many of them were shared in the screenshot gallery forum, and here are some samples. and I tell you what, they just keep getting better and better. They are more and more beautiful each release. Players are obviously having so much fun, and the artistic quality is getting higher and higher. Just on a personal note, I have some family visiting this weekend, including a 15-year-old nephew who is, as you'd expect, pretty heavily into computer games and stuff like that. I said he might like to look at this. I sat him down, turned it on, showed it to him. Within a few minutes, he had it mastered. He was racing around in Ravensmoor Forest, slaughtering bears and kobolds and stuff like that. And he said, this is really good for a pre-alpha. And I believe he's going to go back home and sign up for it. So kudos to the game, kudos to the designers. It is getting far and away better and better every time. And as the message says, check out the rest of the awesome player posted images in the Release 11 screenshot gallery. Okay, nextly, Release 11 stays open. As they said, get your Carnival mask and Tricorn hat. Right, they intend to maintain continuous uptime once it launches on Steam Early Access, but in preparation, they're going to leave Release 11 up to see how it handles, and so far so good. And the Grand Tour quest is there, just as in the last release, to guide you through all the new content. And it is a cool way of finding these new places and where you have to go. So if you visit these places and complete the quest, you get a cool Tricorn hat with mask. And many of us found that you don't have to be tough and powerful and go in with 15 people and kill all the skeletal warriors and liches and things. You can actually just run in the back door and run out again quickly, and you still get your hat. Okay, next item is Steam. Steam access keys now available for all Shroud of the Avatar backers. I have to confess, I held off a little bit initially. I thought, okay, let's go the low risk route. Let's not try anything new, especially as we were trying to do the play last weekend. Didn't want anything to fall over. That was probably a mistake, because after the play, I thought, okay, let's go for Steam. I found it was absolutely awesome. If anybody has any doubts about it, I would say bury your doubts, go Steam. Download is hugely fast. Now maybe that's to be expected. Steam is obviously an outfit that has been distributing, selling, downloading, supplying games for a long, long time. They're going to have hardware facilities and technical capability for downloading and supplying games like you can't imagine. So I installed it on Steam, obviously, and I found that they could supply me the game as fast as my internet connection would allow, which is not quite the same as Portalarium's website. I think Portalarium's does well, but obviously it's a bit smaller and probably at a lower capacity. And if lots of people are trying to draw from it simultaneously, you're not going to get great download speeds. With Steam, it downloads and installs in no time and runs great. So it helps the developers also, just to make sure that the downloading and installation process happens as it should. So I'd encourage everybody to get on board, install the game under Steam, and see how it goes for you. Right, Pen of the Avatar, The Tower of the Shuttered Eye. Concept art lead Stephen Daniele and community manager writer Gina Dion on November the 4th at 1:30 p.m. Central Time for Pen of the Avatar, the Tower of the Shuttered Eye. That, I believe, according to Lord British, is going to be one of the areas in the game that is going to be pretty hard. You don't go in there if you're a young player just started up. That's going to be very difficult to conquer. But as always, Stephen shares his passion for creating art through insightful demonstration of tools and techniques in a fashion easily accessible for novices and professionals alike. It's alive, it's unscripted, and community involvement as a master's input and commentary are shared throughout the show. So if you have any interest in the process of how the awesome art for this game is developed, log on and see how they do it. Okay, Zack's ELEMENTUM wins Captivate conference finals. Just goes to prove we've got some pretty smart people working in the team. Zack Shepard, Student Project ELEMENTUM, won the Captivate competition finals. ELEMENTUM is a 2.5D puzzle platformer where the character harnesses elemental powers to explore the world. So there you go. Hats off to Zack and the entire ELEMENTUM team. Right, getting towards the end. We have 32 days left to get your 15% Black Friday bonus. So if you're pledging your support, anything you pledge for the next 32 days, if you give them $100, they'll give you a $15 bonus. And of course, $1,000 gets $150 bonus. And $10,000, well, $1,500. So anybody who wants to be another Lord of the Manor, go for it. Right, holiday specials. The black cat. That is a cute cat. Imagine that staring at you when you wake up in the morning. That's scary. Okay, and you can get one for 20% off. So that offer lasts for a week. And a taming turkey call, if you want your very own turkey that can be tamed instantly. There we are, 33% off the call, off the price. And a cornucopia. It generates a random edible item or ingredient per day. So 33% off for that. And items in the store that will be disappearing shortly. So if you don't get them now, they will be gone. The Scissors of Prosperity and the Combat Sigil Cloak. Okay, so if you think you might like one of those, jump in now before they're gone. The Alienware sponsor pledge, as ever. Anyone who's interested in pledging or getting someone else to pledge, $20 for free towards your pledge. Okay, and finally, upcoming events. October, well, PAX Australia will be happening. Not in my part of the world, unfortunately, in Melbourne. And at GDC Next in November, 14th of November, a VIP design roundtable for Dukes and Lords of the Manors. 15th of November, Hobloth 2, that's going to be a lot of fun for everybody who goes there. 20th of November, Release 12. 24th of November, Shroud launches on Steam Early Access. And from that point, fellow avatars, we should be up live full time, which doesn't mean that we've got persistence in achievements, in levels, in experience, in what we build or whatever. There have been lots of questions about that in the forum, and I can't answer any of them, but I think it might have been Smack who said something that seemed to make sense. Before the game actually goes live, before it actually starts and we have a land rush, everything probably will have to be wiped at that point. So we all start fresh. So at some point there will be wipes, and if they have to do major data changes, well, yes, there will be wipes. They'll try not to do too many. but it's going to be great having the game up all the time, as it sort of is now. Very nice. Okay, well, that would appear to be the news for this week. Sorry it's a little bit short, but hey, I'm going to go back and start playing the game. So, hope to see you in there. Finally, you can help to make this a great newscast. If you see or hear of something newsworthy that the community ought to know about, let us know, because we'd love to spread the word. Drop us a line at lordbaldrith@thecaverns.net, asclepius@thecaverns.net, or style@thecaverns.net. Thanks to Sir Style Teckle for the technical and website work with the newscast, and also to Amber Rain for airing the program on avatarsradio.com. The background music is Dark Planet by Stephen J. Goldman. So until next week, when I'm hoping to catch you again, this is Asclepius with Echoes from the Caverns.